But I wanted to talk today. I think, in our cultural mythology in America, we have had this intersection of this Thanksgiving time, which is prominent in every culture. There's often holidays that have to do with giving thanks. But we've always woven it in with the first peoples who've lived here. And the mythology about the first Thanksgiving, which unfortunately we understand is not true, um, it was still something that caught our imaginations. And in the America of the heart that I like to talk about, the archetypal America that we relate to, it's part of that there is this story of truth and reconciliation, almost of welcoming, of cultures being able to come together. And in this time when our culture, our society, our nation is so very divided, it's an incredible thing to think about the concept of coming together. So that got me thinking. And so I want to read a couple of things that are Native American in origin and tell you a little story about my latest experience encountering the Tewa people in New Mexico. And then these words came to me, which Ruth has put to a beautiful tune that is around. And I want to talk to you about these words and how, for me, that is the Thanksgiving message this year. So that's where we're going. Just a few moments of conversation, and please let everything I'm saying take what you need and leave the rest, as always. But let it be the beginning and the introduction to your labyrinth walk as you contemplate some of these ideas. So I started to think that and I put on the Facebook post, and I think maybe all of you have seen this image now, but in my entryway, I've had this beautiful poster that was made probably 40 years ago. And it's always been, the entrance to my home. And there's a modern design of Native American origin. And each of the four major racial groups, the white people, the red people, the black people, and the yellow people, are represented in a swirling dance together. And the words that are written on this piece are, "We are as one, earth, sky, all living things, two-legged, four-legged, the winged ones. The trees, the grasses, together with the people, they are all related, one family." And I think in my imagination throughout my life, I have loved the philosophy and the teachings of the Native American way. And these ideas of coming together as one have been really important to me as I've imagined my life and as I've walked the labyrinth. That also seems to speak to the same notion of coming together to walk the one path as many, many walking the one path. So I think these are pieces of the heritage of our land that we are really given, and I have great gratitude for them. They are teachings that have sustained me over many, many years. And so last summer, I've been involved, and thank you, Marge McCarthy, for bringing me into this world. I got involved with a project that was making treasure vases from the clay of the Tewa land near Santa Fe in New Mexico. And this is a Tibetan Buddhist practice, actually, and the first time that it was transferred over to this part of the world. And instead of the vases, 70 of which are buried throughout the world, this time there was a process where we were making the vases here on the North American continent. I'm going to show you the vase that I made. And the process of coming to make this required us to have a ceremony of return, which turned into a beautiful experience of truth and reconciliation. And all of us in the workshop, 25 of us, people from all over the country, some Native people, some white people, some brown people, we all participated in connecting up with our own ancestors, sins, if you will, of the things that happened for white people coming to this nation and coming to this land. What it did for me personally was just take me down a deeper level of understanding what it means to live on this land and what it means to reconcile the dark past. So I just show you this. I'm going to talk about this another time with you all, because these vessels need to be blessed over and over again before they're buried in the ground in order to send their good blessings out into the world. So that process has been very meaningful, and it turned my mind really more deeply to what it means to to be a white person. I'm a white person who lives on this land. And what does that really mean? And what does it mean at Thanksgiving time? You know, when I spent my childhood making Indian headdresses out of construction paper, and as well as making turkeys out of our hands, right? I mean, all the Thanksgiving traditions have had this infused. I was a campfire girl, and we would sing the song Woe He Lo, which stood for work, health, and love, but we sang it in a Native American fashion. And so there was appropriation and borrowing, but also great love for a tradition that was perhaps richer than the one we were all living in. So I'm just offering these ideas as a way to think about this time right here at the Thanksgiving moment, and also a way to really find ourselves in good relation with the first peoples of our land. So that said, I'm going to read you the words. So Ruth, you can put up the words, please. Great Spirit, take us humbly to the Thanksgiving well. Light and shadow calling, we ring the healing bell. So I'm going to take you through those words and what they mean to me as I've been playing with them. There were some of those words that just come to you, and so I've been working with them and invite you to do that as well. Great Spirit is what many Native people, the word they use to speak of the divine. All the names we have for the divine. Great Spirit is the one I chose here. And take us humbly. And that seems like an important piece. There's been so much arrogance in the way that people talk about other cultures, and I'm inviting us to be humble, to not know what we're going to receive. And then the Thanksgiving well imagery is about, I think of Thanksgiving when I think of my own experiences as a child, when I had beautiful Thanksgivings, that it was like this wellspring, that the family got together, everybody was kind to each other, not like they were the rest of the year. There was something really deep and emotionally satisfying about the Thanksgiving table. And so I think of the well, what is that? Where do we go to receive what Thanksgiving is about? And there are things each of us have that aren't so wonderful. Maybe there have been really painful Thanksgivings, or Thanksgivings after the loss of a loved one, or Thanksgivings where somebody was unkind, or even worse. So, and then the deeper connection of what it meant to take the land of the people that lived here before. So all of that, let that play as what the Thanksgiving well is. And then I've referred to the light and the shadow calling. And when we, again, look at these two sides, let's say, I've been talking about this every time I come on this call, the light and the shadow together, when we hold them both, when we have the capacity of heart and the beauty of heart to be able to hold the light and the shadow, then that constitutes a healing bell. I'm going to ring it once here because it doesn't work with the song, but I will ring it to you. So imagine that you really reconcile, you hold the dark and the light together, the shadow, light and shadow, and in that act, the healing occurs. So, as I said, these words came to me, and then my dear friend Ruth, who is an absolute lovely magician and musician, came up with the most wonderful round that goes with these words. And I'm going to invite Ruth to teach it to us, and we can all sing along. And she'll teach us, and then she's also made a recording of 4 parts. So we'll play with that a little bit and get ourselves in the mood of this time of Thanksgiving and this time of holding the light and shadow. Okay, Ruth.
So I'm just going to start singing this, and as you feel like you have it, just sing along. Great Spirit, take us humbly to the Thanksgiving well. Light and shadow calling, we ring the healing bell. Great Spirit, take us humbly to the Thanksgiving well. Light and shadow calling, we ring the healing bell. Great Spirit, take us humbly to the Thanksgiving well. Light and shadow calling, we ring the healing bell. Great Spirit, take us humbly to the Thanksgiving well. Light and shadow calling, we ring the healing bell. One more time. Great Spirit, take us humbly to the Thanksgiving well. Light and shadow calling, we ring the healing bell. And now I'll play the version. You can just try and follow one voice, or just sing however you want. Sing the first part, sing the second part, but here we... Great Spirit, take us humbly, take us humbly, great Spirit, take us
Well, thank you, Ruth. That is gorgeous. And we will make this available to you all too, in case it wants to come to Thanksgiving. There is the healing bell. So it's time for our deepening that happens on our labyrinth walk. So please get your labyrinths out and show us. And as we do, have a look at these beautiful labyrinths that accompany us on our path. See everybody's different labyrinths. Beautiful, beautiful. And then please just put them in front of you and lay your hands in the middle And let your eyes close for a moment and feel yourself at home in your body. Let the breath find you as you find the breath. And let that process of recognition just deepen and soften and gentle the breath and gentle your whole being as these words and ideas settle in around you. And you feel the great circle that we create, all of us, all around the world. From Australia, I think there may be people today from the UK and Europe, but we know people there too. Just feel that sense of that Labyrinth community. And we're all going to go to the Thanksgiving well, inviting people from other cultures to participate in this truly American tradition of setting aside a day for giving thanks, for opening our hearts to gratitude, especially that day. So I'll ask Ruth to start and give us some improvised music, and we'll spend about 10 minutes walking on this labyrinth and come back at the end of that time to be together again.
To the Thanksgiving well, light and shadow calling, light and shadow calling, light and shadow calling, we ring the healing bell. Great Spirit, take us humbly to the Thanksgiving well. Light and shadow calling, we ring the healing bell. and shadow calling, we ring the healing bell. Great Spirit, take us humbly to the Thanksgiving well. Light and shadow calling, we ring the healing Great Spirit, take us humbly to the Thanksgiving well. Light and shadow calling, we ring the healing bell.
And let those sounds just continue to reverberate in your consciousness as you place your hands back on the labyrinth. Let yourself feel the texture, always tuning in to the sensation of the breath in the body and the fingers on the labyrinth, the feet on the floor, connected to Mother Earth. And think back now for a moment to your own indigenous roots, wherever your ancestors came from. If we go back far enough, we get back to places where there was more respect for the land. There is more kinship. And whether you're in Ireland or in Australia, or any of the many native lands that constitute the states and provinces of the United States and Canada, somewhere deep in each of our souls is that thread that goes back to a place that is so easy to be grateful for. And while we're grateful for the abundance that we find in our lives and grateful for surviving these 2 last strange years, grateful for friends and family and all our relations, let's let that gratefulness deepen into a gratefulness for our planet, for, as the native peoples call it, our Mother Earth. The people of the Iroquois Confederacy have a Thanksgiving address that you can get easily. And The first part of that goes like this. Today we have gathered and we see that the cycles of life continue. We have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living things. So now we bring our minds together as one, as we give greetings and thanks to each other as people. And then there's a refrain in this whole very long prayer. And the refrain is, now our minds are one. And then this address continues to honor the Earth Mother, the waters, the fish, the plants, the food plants, the medicine herbs, the animals, the trees, the birds, the four winds, the thunderers, the sun, Grandmother Moon, the stars, the enlightened teachers, the Creator. And this little book is available. It's also quoted extensively in Robin Kimmerer's beautiful book, Braiding Sweetgrass. I recommend that to each and every one of us. It's a beautiful book. And she speaks of this. And the picture you saw on Ruth's, when Ruth put the words up for us, is from that part of the world where this blessing comes to us. And it would be the very same peoples connected to that first Thanksgiving that we remember in mythology. So here we are, having come together. I'll just take you back inside one more moment, so that we can send whatever we have gathered in our prayers out to all of creation. Whatever Thanksgiving we have gathered at the Thanksgiving well, to send it out to the peoples of the north and the south and the east and the west, to send it out on the four winds to the animals of all descriptions, to the trees and grasses, to the mycelial world, to the rocks, to the waters, to all that we call home and feel our kinship with. So just take a moment to make your own personal prayer wherever it would like to go right now, from this space that we've collectively created. And one last gratitude, if we imagine we're holding hands across the oceans and across the mountains and everywhere. We just feel each other here in our faithful practice of coming together on Fridays. Please send gratitude right through your hands into this circle that has formed and grown and flourished in this time. All to the brothers and sisters who come together to practice together. Great gratitude to each and every one of us.